welcome back to the first official review of the 2024 season. Hasn't been the start to the year that we probably would have wanted, but we're in that transitional phase at the moment, and we're well aware of where we're at and what our expectations are for the year. But I'll dive straight into the Carlton game. It was a few days ago to now the day I'm recording is Saturday, obviously a Thursday night game. So a few days have passed, plenty of time to think about it and think about the way I feel about the game and, the things I want to talk about. And obviously, because I have left it a couple of days, I won't go into too much detail about everything that's gone by, because, I'm sure you're all across it by this point, but I'll give my thoughts anyway. Firstly, the proud is the word that has been thrown around a lot. Adam Urzay obviously said it in his press conference, and I couldn't agree more. It was a performance that not a lot of people tipped us to have. If you look at all the media and all the journos and Carlton fans especially, are all saying, 40, 50, 60 points plus are going to beat us by and walk in the park. And, Harry and Charlie are going to have a field day on us. And I'll be on it. I won't lie. I was in a similar boat. I was thinking a similar thing. I thought, could get ugly, especially with our young defenders and just, the way that we were moving the ball against the Gold Coast. We had glimpses of good things, but for the most part, it was pretty average. So I wasn't super optimistic. I won't lie. I'm not going to pretend that I knew from the beginning we were going to, do what we did. But I'm still proud. I still think the performance we put out there, and I've got, some notes here, but the fact that we finished off with two fit players on the bench, we had key defenders down in Gibcus and Tyler Young, and then we had Lynch, Nank, and Dusty all play their first game, no practice matches. So maybe a little bit underdone as well. And the fact that we stuck it right with them all the way to the end. And, if it wasn't for that Shea fumble, we could have won, and I would say the classic shoulda, woulda, coulda. But, the fact that we're all thereabouts, for me, again, I'm proud. So I thought the boys put up a really good fight. There were moments in the game. Lynch's first goal, I know, controversial free kick, but the fact that, he slotted that, crowd got up and about, he got up and about, and we thought, could be on here. This is energizing, and it's what we wanted to see. So that was really good. It was just cool to be back at the footy, back at the MCG, the classic, for me anyway, head to the pub before the game, have a bite to eat, have a couple of beers, and head down to the G, you soak in the atmosphere. I don't know what was going on with the security at the front of the game. I missed the first bounce because of it. Just as I was scanning my ticket at the gate, ball goes up. So I just missed that, unfortunately. But again, it's a lesson learned for next time. I'll get there a lot earlier, knowing that it could take me 15 minutes to get from the top of the stairs at gate 6 to inside the ground. I didn't account for that, but that's my own fault. So not complaining too much about that, but just great to be back at the footy. So let me know in the comments what you guys thought. If you were there, did you enjoy it? Obviously the result wasn't what we were looking for, like I mentioned earlier, but for me, it's one of the few games in recent times that I've walked out from and gone, I'm not that upset. Like, yes, disappointed, heartbroken, you crushed at the time, but in hindsight, not that upset considering what could have happened. So I'll get into some players as well. Obviously, Tyler Young, Josh Gibcus. Firstly, Josh Gibcus, mate, that's a real blow, not just for him, but for the for the fans, the club. It's devastating, and the ramifications that might have going forward for the rest of the season. The ramifications for Josh Gibcus's development as a player. He obviously got a lot more game time than most key position players do in his first season, but then to miss the entire 2023 and now the entire 2024, you just got to wonder how far back it sets you. So fingers crossed he can get back as soon as possible. Obviously this year's probably out of the picture, but if he can get back and he can be doing another training block, another preseason under the belt, hopefully it helps. But I thought him and Tyler Young, back to the game, I thought him and Tyler Young were having a great start to the game. Like they were limiting the scoring opportunities of both Charlie and Harry. They were getting a fist in right when you wanted it. They were all over it. And I thought for young guys, coming up against the best, duo forwards in the competition, they did really well. So I'm really proud of them as well. Again, the word proud being thrown around, but I think again, we can all probably agree that's how a lot of us feel. As I look back at my notes over here, we probably came into the game at one tall short. I was very surprised by Naismith getting dropped. I thought we could potentially expose them, especially if we had, one of the ruckmen drop into the forward line and without Wiedering back there, we had Lynch, Bolter, and potentially a Naismith in there as well. Like who goes to who, it might have exposed them a little bit. So I was surprised by Naismith getting dropped. And then of course we ended up relying on an underdone Nankervis to sort of ruck out most of the game. And then Noah Bolter and Tom Lynch were in there pinch hitting as well. But when Gibcus and Young went down, then Bolter had to go back for a little bit. So then he was overworking probably. Lynch as well, underdone. So, for him he wanted limited minutes, or the club wanted him to have limited minutes, and he ended up playing probably more than they expected. And then we went back to the Sean Grigg days and we had Marlon Pickett in the ruck, which I actually didn't hate. I know a lot of people have been ripping into his game, but I thought when he was in the ruck, he competed while the ball was in the air. And then when it hit the ground, he was another midfielder. I don't say I want to see it all the time, but I didn't hate it, is what I'm saying. So I'm not here calling to see this all the time. I don't want to see it every week, but it's, we might have to, and I don't hate it when we do. So simple as that. Again, I thought, touching on all that, it was a test for Uze. This whole dilemma with the injuries, he had to, throw the magnets around, and it's going to be a test going forward as well. They've spent the whole preseason with Noah Bolter as a forward. Now, I know Uze said in press conferences and interviews after, he said, nah, like we're sticking with Bolter. We're going to have to bring somebody up. But, realistically, he had the most intercept marks, or second most intercept marks in the competition last season. We know what he can do as a backman. To me, he looks more comfortable there. So do you just go stuff it and throw him back in the back line, or do you stick with your original plan and keep him as a forward? Now, look, he looked dynamic as a forward. He kicked 3 goals. Obviously, he went up into the ruck, played a role there, and he created opportunities as well. And I thought he did look quite dangerous. Now, I'm impartial to Noah Bolter as a forward, but I can't deny the game on the weekend was good. It was a great performance. It was my player of the match. Pretty sure Richmond gave him their player of the match as well. It's a great mind think alike. It's 2 weeks in a row for me. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what Uze does. And like I said, I've got, the notes I've written here. It was Lynch, Martin, and then a bunch of small forwards. And it sort of resembled that 2017 forward line we had, where it was Jack, Dusty. I know Dusty was more midfield back then also, but, it was that sort of smaller forward line. Again, and then with Pickett playing that Sean Grigg type of role. I'll probably don't need to touch too more on the game. I think we're all across it. We all know how we feel about it. We had our moments. We had opportunities. So did the Blues. We're probably lucky they didn't capitalize as much as they could have. And also, I know there's a lot of people carrying on about it. And look, I agree. There were some shockers in the last quarter. But I'm not buying into the umpires cost us thing. Yes, I know that Chera goal Cripps did the old throw out of the pack. But, you could argue a bunch of the free kicks we got in that first quarter, both of Lynch's as well, were very controversial and arguably weren't there. Or they may have been there, but the soft call. So I'm not buying into that. I think we had our chances. Shea Bolton missed a couple easy ones. Ryan Mansell with that snap. I mean, you got to hit those. So we had our opportunities. We let them go. But in saying that, the fact that we're in the position we were in and we kept giving ourselves opportunities to win the game, that's what I loved. So I'll go back into some individual performances now. The two that I wanted to talk about, and there was a few, and I spoke about the backman earlier, and I've already spoken about this man, but Noah Bolter, 3 goals. He went into the back line, went into the ruck, had a big impact. Again, kudos to him because like I said, I'm impartial to him playing forward, and he did a really good job up there. And I think if he can do that going forward, if they do decide to keep him as a forward, then they've made the right call. And we know his athletic prowess and his ability and his potential. I think for him, it's more the footy smarts and learning that new craft as a forward, because it's completely different. I've always found that some people defenders can transition to forwards and vice versa because they understand how their opposition thinks. I'm not quite sure if that's registered with Noah just yet, or if maybe it's a different learning curve for him. I'm not too sure. But there's a lot to look into there. And then the last player I want to talk about quickly is Nick Vlostone. He was the player of the week last week against the Suns. He was the only thing keeping us from losing by 250 last week. And he did it again. He was intercepting at will. He was a brick wall down there, especially when they were hammering in that first quarter and trying to get it into Charlie and Harry. He was just everywhere. And his ball use as well, I don't know if it's improved or if it's just always been that good, but it's incredible. I love his ball use as well. He makes the right call more often than not. And it's his intercepting, which I've already said, but it's his intercepting that is so vital for us and it makes such a big difference. So absolutely wrapped with that. I'll probably leave it there. It's again been a big week. It's been a few days since the game, so I'm not going to dwell on the Carlton game too much. We've got Port to look forward to this Sunday at the G. So if you can get there, absolutely get there. Probably talk more about what the lineup might be in the preview video, just because honestly, who knows what it might end up looking like with some of the players who got out, who comes in. I have a sneaky suspicion with Dion Prestia getting injured as well, which I didn't mention. I mean, mate, get a new hamstring. I don't know what we're going to do to keep him on. But I've got a sneaky suspicion we could have a debutant and Kane McAuliffe coming in, the big-bodied midfielder. But we also have blokes like Tyler Sonzi that are trying to get a game as well. So who knows? Do we bring Noah Cumberland in for the forward line? There's a lot. There's a lot. So I'll talk about that in the preview. I'm not too sure how to look, how we'll line up, etc. But it's going to be a good watch regardless. So thank you very much for watching. Please tune in this year. It's going to be a big year for the channel, big year for the Tigers. Hopefully, on Wednesday nights, I am on the Jumper Punch show, Forever Rival. So get on that. It's live stream 7:30 Wednesday nights. I will post about it on the Instagram story every Wednesday. So as a bit of a reminder, jump on, get in the comments, support the Tigers. It's basically a show with support from each of the big four clubs, Collingwood, Carlton, Essendon, Richmond. And we just sort of get on and just hang shit on each other, really. So it's a bit of fun. I enjoy it. It's good to get around, but we need more Richmond people in the comments backing me up and making the Tigers look a little bit better as well with the support that comes through. So jump on the channel, have a look, give them a follow as well. They're mostly Carlton content, but I think in this creation space, it's good to support each other. So if you can, throw them a follow. I understand if you don't want to because it is Carlton stuff. Definitely throw me a follow. Get onto the Instagram, TigerDen_TV as well. Plenty of content going out there. But that's it. Thank you again for watching. Really appreciate it. We're going to have a big year this year, and I look forward to, going on the roller coaster with you all. So go Tigers.